All right, so get this. You guys sent us this YouTube video,
Hmm.
and it's about a ritual called the Jubilee,
Okay.
but it's also about the possible metaphysical implications of this Jubilee thing.
Right.
And let's just say this hypnosis session in Spanish, it's a real doozy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We are diving deep on this one, so buckle up.
Sounds good.
Ah.
I'm intrigued.
Ah.
Hypnosis can tap into some pretty interesting stuff.
Right.
But you really have to be discerning with this type of material.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think we should approach this session like it's one person's experience under hypnosis,
Okay.
and that it's a source of potentially symbolic information.
Yeah, think of it like we're analyzing a dream
Okay.
or a myth.
I like it.
We're here to unpack all this imagery and the symbolism
Okay.
and just kind of see what we can glean from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the session starts off
Right.
with this description of a golden gong,
Mm.
and it's inscribed with the words, "Open the gate."
Oh, wow. That's pretty dramatic.
Oh, I know, right?
So how do they describe playing this gong?
Well, it involves a mallet
Okay.
covered in human skin.
That's
Yeah.
a little creepy.
Yeah, it's definitely setting a specific tone, right?
For sure.
So the idea is that these vibrations from the gong,
Okay.
combined with like this human element,
Yeah.
create a portal.
A portal to where?
Well, not to a fixed location.
Okay.
This portal, it opens wherever specific energies align.
So it's not like stepping through a doorway.
No.
It's like creating a rift in reality.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So the session suggests this portal, it was last opened in Florida
Florida.
on December 24th, 2024.
Okay.
And the fact that the location is determined by this energy alignment,
Yeah.
it's kind of a curious detail.
It is. It almost implies like there's an element of randomness to it.
Right.
Or unpredictability,
Yeah.
you know?
Like these forces are searching for like the path of least resistance. So
Nice.
speaking of resistance,
Huh.
the subject was asked to observe the recent opening of the Holy Door at St. Peter's Basilica. And she felt super repelled by it.
Really?
Like something was pushing her away energetically.
Like an invisible barrier.
Yeah.
Which, if you're following the logic of this session,
Yeah.
it actually makes sense because
Why?
they're claiming that this portal, it's supposed to grant access to Earth for these new species,
Okay.
specifically reptilian draconian hybrids.
Hold on. Reptilian draconian hybrids.
That's what they say.
That sounds like something out of a fantasy novel.
It certainly does.
Not reality.
Well, if we look at it symbolically, though,
Okay.
these beings, they could represent something else entirely.
Like what?
Like maybe they symbolize primal instincts
Yeah.
or hidden knowledge, or even like the shadow aspects of ourselves.
Okay, so maybe not literal lizard people.
Right.
But they did describe these beings as investors.
Investors.
Which, I don't know about you, but I find that a little unnerving.
It's a little unsettling.
Yeah, like we're the commodity in some cosmic transaction.
It brings up an interesting question, though.
What's that?
What are they investing in?
I don't know.
What do they stand to gain from interacting with humanity?
Right, what do they see in us?
Exactly.
And here's where it gets even wilder.
Okay.
They claim human energy specifically from people with
With what?
what they call reptilian DNA.
Reptilian DNA.
It fuels this portal.
Interesting.
And the more energy that flows through it,
Yeah.
the larger this portal becomes, allowing more and more of these beings to pass through.
Now, this concept of reptilian DNA,
Yeah.
that's a tricky one.
Right.
From a purely scientific perspective.
Yeah.
It's not something that's recognized.
Okay.
But some people believe it refers to this primal part of the brain,
Okay.
sometimes called the reptilian complex.
Okay.
It's associated with our basic instincts,
Okay.
our survival drives.
So maybe it's not about literal reptilian ancestry.
Right.
It's about tapping into these primal energies within us.
Possibly.
That would make a lot more sense, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it would.
And they connect all of this to the Jubilee year with the 5 holy doors that were open.
Right.
The final one being at a Roman prison.
The symbolism of a prison.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
It could represent a state of confinement,
Okay.
whether it's physical or mental or even spiritual.
Right.
Maybe the choice to place that final door there,
Yeah.
it symbolizes something about breaking free from limitations.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
So if passing through a holy door is like contributing to this energy exchange,
Okay.
are they saying that those who participate are unknowingly feeding this reptilian influence?
It seems like they are implying that.
And what does that mean for those people?
Well, they describe the people who participate as feeling drained,
Okay.
empty, disillusioned, like they've lost a part of themselves.
Hmm.
It's almost like the idea of soul loss that you find in some shamanic traditions.
That's heavy stuff.
It is.
But it's interesting because they also say the Earth itself releases this massive burst of energy
Right.
every year around Christmas, almost like the planet is exhaling.
Interesting.
And they say that the Jubilee held every 25 years
Yeah.
coincides with like an even stronger release of this energy.
So it's like there's this natural rhythm
Yeah,
to this energy flow.
right.
And these rituals are designed to tap into it.
And amplify it.
Exactly.
So they're not just harnessing human energy, but the Earth's energy as well.
It would seem so.
And there's also this number 7.
Okay.
It keeps coming up.
What do you mean?
7 layers of skin on the mallet.
Okay.
7 essences in something they called the Pope container. 7 has a lot of symbolic significance.
It does in many cultures and
It
traditions.
represents completeness,
Right.
spiritual awakening, connection to the divine.
It's interesting that they're incorporating it into this ritual.
And then there's the part about the 7 human sacrifices offered every year.
Oh, wow.
They describe people being captured, imprisoned, and then ritually killed.
Yeah.
And they use their fear-infused skin to cover the gong's mallet.
That's where things get really dark and disturbing.
I know it is.
If we're trying to interpret this symbolically,
Yeah.
it could represent the sacrifice of innocence
Okay.
or the suppression of our true selves.
So is this all some elaborate system of energy manipulation orchestrated by these reptilian beings?
Well, the session definitely paints a picture of a complex network of rituals
Yeah,
and symbolism,
for sure.
all designed to influence events on a grand scale.
So?
But whether it's literal or metaphorical,
Yeah.
that's up for debate.
What do you think?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Does it feel more like a factual account to you or a symbolic narrative?
I'm leaning towards symbolic.
Okay,
It feels like there are too many layers of meaning to take it all at face value.
that's fair. How about you?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
we're being presented with this puzzle box full of all these strange and intriguing pieces,
Yeah.
and we have to figure out how they fit together,
Right.
what the bigger picture might be.
Yeah, so
We'll
that's
we'll
fair.
keep unpacking this in part 2.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
It's like we're looking at this distorted reflection of our own world. You know, all these themes of power and control and manipulation.
Right.
But then there's also this tension between like darkness and light.
Yeah. And it's not all doom and gloom.
Right.
The session does offer some glimpses of hope.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it mentions other planets where beings can coexist peacefully,
Okay.
and they share resources freely
Interesting.
without this need for control and manipulation.
It's a pretty stark contrast
I know, right?
compared to what they're describing here on Earth.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's not like all advanced civilizations are destined to become these power-hungry control freaks.
Right.
That's actually pretty reassuring.
It is.
And then there's this whole thing about cities in Antarctica
Okay.
acting as neutral zones
Neutral zones.
where different species can interact peacefully.
Like a galactic UN headquarters in
Ah.
Antarctica. It almost sounds too good to be true.
It does.
But if these peaceful planets and neutral zones exist,
Yeah.
why is Earth stuck in this system of control and manipulation?
Well, the session suggests it's because humanity is evolving
Okay.
and our growing awareness,
Yeah.
our spiritual development,
Mhm.
they're disrupting this established control system.
So we're like the glitch in the matrix.
Exactly.
The unexpected variable that
Yeah.
the system can't account for.
Precisely. And the session really emphasizes
What?
this contagious nature of positive energy.
Okay.
So as more people kind of awaken to their true potential
Yeah.
and they start choosing love over fear,
Okay.
it shifts the planet's energetic state.
Interesting.
And that makes it harder for these manipulative forces to maintain their grip.
So basically, being kind and optimistic
Yeah.
is our secret weapon against these controlling forces.
It might sound simplistic,
Yeah.
but the session really does emphasize the power of our individual and collective choices. They suggest that acts of kindness, compassion, creativity,
Wow.
they can actually disrupt these patterns of control and manipulation.
I like that.
Right.
It's empowering to think that we're not just helpless pawns in some grand cosmic game.
Exactly. We have agency.
The session also highlights humanity's resilience.
Okay.
Our ability to find hope and meaning in the face of adversity
Yeah.
is presented as like a major obstacle for these controlling forces.
Like they can't keep us down no matter how hard they try.
That's pretty inspiring.
It is.
But let's be real, this is a lot to process.
I agree.
We've
with
got
you.
golden gongs, reptilian investors,
Yeah.
human sacrifice positive energy as a weapon, galactic UN headquarters.
It's a lot to unpack.
It's a wild mix of ideas.
It is. It certainly pushes the boundaries of conventional thinking.
Right.
But even if we take the specific details
Yeah.
with a grain of salt,
Okay.
there are some really thought-provoking themes at play here.
Absolutely. The idea that there might be unseen forces influencing our world. Whether they're literal reptilian beings or something else entirely,
Yeah.
it's a concept that's resonated throughout history.
Oh, absolutely. You see
Yeah.
it in mythology,
Right.
folklore, even in modern conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
This fear of the unknown,
Yeah.
of forces that are beyond our control. It's a very primal human experience.
And this session taps into that primal fear,
It does.
but it also offers a glimmer of hope
Right.
that we're not completely powerless,
Exactly.
that our choices and actions can
Yeah.
make a difference.
That's the key takeaway here.
Okay.
It's a call to action.
Okay.
It's an invitation to become more aware of these subtle ways in which we might be manipulated
Yeah.
and to consciously choose a different path.
So what does that look like in practice?
Yeah.
How do we go from feeling like pawns to becoming active players in this cosmic game?
Well, I think it starts with awareness,
Okay.
with questioning the narratives that we're presented with.
Yeah.
We need to cultivate critical thinking skills, learn to discern truth from falsehood.
So it's about becoming more discerning consumers of information,
Exactly.
not just blindly accepting everything we're told.
Right.
And I guess it's also about being more mindful of our own energy,
Absolutely.
our thoughts, our emotions.
Exactly. The session suggests
Yeah.
that fear and negativity,
Mm-hmm.
they feed this system of control,
Okay.
while love, compassion, joy,
Yeah.
they disrupt it.
Interesting.
It's a reminder that our internal state has a real impact on the world around us.
So it's not just about fighting against the darkness.
No.
It's about cultivating our own inner light.
Precisely by focusing on positive qualities,
Okay.
like creativity, generosity, kindness,
Yeah.
we weaken the grip of these manipulative forces.
That's a powerful concept.
It is.
It's almost like that idea that darkness can't exist where there's light.
Right.
You're not fighting the shadows. You're shining so brightly
Yeah.
that the shadows fade away.
Beautifully put.
And that message of empowerment is something we can all take away from this.
Absolutely.
Regardless of our beliefs about reptilian overlords and interdimensional portals.
Right. It's about taking control of your own reality.
So to sum it up, be aware.
Be aware.
Be critical.
Be critical.
Be resilient.
Be resilient.
And be kind.
And be kind.
Because apparently good vibes are the ultimate weapon.
I love it.
So, wow, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
We really have.
Started with this golden gong.
Right.
And we ended up talking about galactic UN headquarters,
Yeah.
human evolution,
It's been quite a journey.
the power of positive energy. It's a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
What are your main takeaways from all of this?
You know, I think for me, the biggest thing is this reminder that reality is so much more complex
Yeah.
and multifaceted than we realize.
Absolutely.
You know, there may be forces at play
Right.
that we don't even fully understand,
Right.
but we're not powerless.
Yeah, I agree. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of it all.
It is.
You know,
Right.
this idea of these elaborate systems of control and manipulation.
For sure.
But the session also emphasizes our own agency, you know?
It
It's our
does.
ability to choose how we respond
Absolutely.
and how we shape our reality.
Exactly. It's this call to become more conscious,
Right.
more aware
Where?
of the subtle influences around us
Yeah.
and within us.
Yeah.
And it's an invitation to step into our power.
Okay.
Choose love over fear, connection over isolation, creativity over conformity.
This whole concept of positive energy being a disruptive force, I find that so fascinating.
I know, it's so interesting.
It's like we're being told that our collective vibration, our
Yeah.
shared state of consciousness,
Yeah.
can actually influence the course of events.
It really resonates with a lot of spiritual traditions and philosophies.
It does.
This idea that our
Yeah.
thoughts, emotions, intentions,
Yeah.
they have this real impact on the world around us.
So maybe the key to breaking free from these systems of control isn't about fighting against them directly, but about shifting our focus inward.
Interesting.
You know,
Yeah.
cultivating our own inner strength, resilience,
Right.
even optimism.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about denying the darkness
Right.
or pretending it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to embody the light.
Right.
You know, to radiate those qualities
Yeah.
that uplift and empower us and those around us.
It's like that idea that you can't solve a problem with the same mindset that created it.
Exactly.
We need like a new approach.
We
A
do.
new way of being in the world.
And that starts with each of us individually,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
making conscious choices,
Okay.
cultivating those positive qualities,
Yeah.
and connecting with others who share a similar vision.
Yeah.
We can contribute to a collective shift in consciousness.
So what do you think, did this deep dive leave you feeling more empowered, more aware, or maybe a little more confused?
Maybe all of the above.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And, you know, as you go about your day,
Yeah.
consider this.
Okay.
If even just a fraction of what we discussed is true,
Right.
what role do you want to play in this unfolding story? Are you a passive observer,
Okay.
a reluctant participant,
Right.
or are you a conscious co-creator
Yeah.
of a more positive future?
Those are some thought-provoking questions.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the mysteries of the Jubilee and its potential implications.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.